Hello everybody, Rev.Hawksblood here again. Alright, this is a very critical topic. Prejudiced. Alright, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. I don't want to make it longer than I have to. Alright, we talk about prejudice. Dislikes and likes, favorites, non-favorites, judgment, good or bad. How can you judge? Everybody judges in their own way. They might not like the word. Oh, you cannot judge. You cannot be prejudiced. Why? Why do you think? One reason is because weak people would not survive if they were to be judged. So they had to make the whole world of people accept their idea. We are all equal. We are not. When it comes to food, likes and dislikes, you create your own reason why you like something and don't like it. People cannot tell you what flavor you have to like. Why is it different with different things? Now, in religion, what if you had to follow a religion that every other person says you had to follow? All right, would you? Sadly, we're almost there. Religions are being stripped of their rights. All right, and you'll see that as we move forward in the next year or two. When it comes to fat and skinny, you cannot call someone fat, but everyone on talk shows and all the other shows are trying to stop people from becoming fat, trying to make them get skinny. Oh, remember when we were little? Nobody was fat. I wonder why. There was very few fat people or heavy people, whatever word you want to use. When it comes to places, okay, I like that place, I don't like that place. We can use different words, dislike and like, but still you're prejudiced to a place that you like, to a place that you don't like. Why would it be different with people or anything else, or even animals? What if somebody told you you all had to have a dog, or all had to have a cat, or everybody had to have a kangaroo? All right, we're not there, but we're kind of in a sad place that's very close to that. All right, now, what if somebody told you you had to live in a cold place? Would you? If the government moves all the people from the West Coast to the center of the United States, is that going to make everybody happy? I think there's going to be a lot of people with prejudices against different people that are coming there. All right, and that's because of radiation on the West Coast. We'll see what happens with that. As soon as we go back to, let's go back to the schools now, in the workplaces. Years ago, they were forced to have different races of people being hired or brought into the school. How's that? You could live near one school and be trucked a bus to another school. Why is that? All right, the same in the workforce. I know my father worked for a big company, and that a certain year they had to stop hiring white people and they had to hire Puerto Rican people and Cuban people. It was disguised as low-income people, or, I mean, they have a lot of excuses for words, but it means different races, okay? Now, it seems more prejudiced to me than not about doing things like that. When you force things to happen, it's not natural, and it is prejudiced. Even though you're using the word, it's not. I look at things from my side, not the program side of the way people want you to believe, which is the way you have to live. Oh, I worked in a school in Oregon that had Native children in it because the Native school was overcrowded, so they had to send the overflow to my school that I was working in. Sadly, they kept all those children in one class, no matter how old they were. And the excuse they used was they're all slow. Not that they were. I debated with the principal. I debated with the teachers. And they said, well, we have to do it this way. That's prejudiced. Government prejudiced. I guess I didn't say it loud enough. Government prejudiced. I did a big event before I left the school when I was quitting, and I got they allowed all the Native children to come. How's that? But I just told them, look, you're in trouble. And I warned them, and I explained what's going on, plus I did a fire dance and different things for them. But that was a couple years ago. Changing a word from prejudice to unlike, is that any better? How can anyone tell you how you have to think? What's wrong with you people? Now, all the New Age people talk about alien races, like the good races and the bad races. The reptilian race is a bad race. The Andromedans is a good race. How's that? How's that? there's no proof that they're even here, and it's already being accepted of what good and bad is to these races. Now, the more we move with that, we need proof. And guess what? There's proof of Bigfoot coming in and mermaids coming in. What are we going to do with them? I guess we stripped the native, I didn't, but the government stripped the native people of all their rights. All right? And I guess it will be the same for these beings or creatures. Unless the Humane Society gets involved and we got these animal-loving people who love animals more than people involved, and they'll start fighting for those races. On native rights, do you know they have none, or very few? They lose their land to the government for 5 years while the government puts cattle on it and destroys the crops and the land itself, and then they give it back to them. Now, here, did you ever hear a native story on the news in the past 10 years? Did you? Do you remember what it was about? Was it an important issue? There's multiple issues going on the native land of the few people that are left on some of the reservations. And why is that? That's called prejudice. We hear much about everything else. The only way aliens will take over their rights is when they come back here. Well, let's not go there. I know most people don't even believe in that. They will make their stand soon enough. And the UFO people will be surprised because they're going to not see what they want. The Nordics, which a lot of people consider the good race, are not. And then the Greys are so bad. Well, there's not many Greys left. But yeah, we'll see. This will be happening. What if you were stuck with an Aborigine tribe that ate humans? Would they be considered a good race or a bad race? Or you wouldn't be able to say. I'm sure it would be considered a something. You'd have to make a decision on that. Religion, again, the government has the right to tell them what to do. Is that right? Voodoo is a bad race. Santeria, a bad, not a race, sorry, bad religion. All right, and they use the words occult. They love to attack occults. Do you know the difference between religion and occult? Nothing. Just the amount of people that follow it and accept it. The only difference. Not that their God's better, your God's better, not that the government's better, but you're programmed to fit into this idea that if it's not one of the ones that the government accepts and forced on the world, we are in a cult. All right? I was with a person that actually went to court and made witchcraft become a religion. And that was many, many, many years ago. And that was in New Jersey. All right? Nothing that people do have to be accepted by other people. But in this case, whatever we do has to be accepted by the whole, whoever the whole is, even though it's a few people, make that decision what the rights for us are. Something you will never read. Jesus said the most spiritual path will have the least followers. Again, think about that. Think about what that means. Oh, well, I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't have time. Did I say spiritual path? Most people talk about spiritualism, say they're spiritual, and have no clue while they're out there preaching it to the world. How's that? Prejudice to people you cannot be. All right, why? Unless you are the government. Prejudice is being made against male and females, mostly females. Why is that? Unless you are the government, sexual preference will be affected. Why is that? Well, everybody's still fighting for that one. But they give you the right to get married, and then they take it away. They give you the right to have an abortion, then they take it away. Whose right is it? An individual's right, or it should be. But again, people think they have freedom in the United States and everything else while everything's being stripped from them. Okay, let's go back into prejudice. Really? If you say black people, you are prejudiced. All right, if you say white people, you are not. How's that? Black comedy is all about attacking the white race. But the white race cannot do the same about blacks. Why is that? How's that? It's accepted, and it's becoming kind of twisted. Yes, many people feel bad for the black race. Some feel a little guilty about the Jewish race. But why is it no one feels bad about the native people? The native people, no one cares about. Why is that? How's that? Government is totally prejudiced against them, making sure it stays that way, and no one cares. You can talk about the black people and everybody else, but the native people were here first. They were here before anybody was forced or brought here. And they're the other ones being pushed in this little hole. Black people can go back to their country. The native people live here, always lived here. They have nowhere to go, and there is no place for them to go. People don't want to hear the truth. New Age people love to shy away from the truth. They'd rather fit into the love and light, everything's beautiful, and we're all spiritual beings. If that was the case, this world would be incredible. It would be the greatest planet in the whole universe, which it is not in a lot of ways. We do have the most spiritual people, which aren't very spiritual. All right, let's go. We see movies about the black people. We see movies about the Jewish people. And the native stories that are put on TV are so far-fetched and twisted, it's so sad. I mean, when was the last true Native American movie that really showed the conditions of Native people in a real reality? They don't show it because they're trying to eliminate that. Okay, let's look at the news. Okay, go on. The past 10 years, what news show did you hear a real big, important special about the Native people? All right. And then when it comes to beatings and things like that, it's always a black prejudice thing. That sounds prejudiced to me because when white people get beat up, it's not prejudiced. When I was little, I saw cops pull our friends over and beat them, and we weren't allowed to do a thing. But it was accepted. Oh, whatever the police did was always right. Wake up, people. This is kind of, sounds like I'm angry. I am in a lot of ways. And I think every person on this planet should be. But no, they're cloned and programmed to believe that everything's beautiful and right. All right, there's a difference between when it comes to religion. All right, the prejudices against religion. If you believe in a religion and it has its own laws, you should be able to live by them. How is it? How's that? You have to accept new principles and new ideas. The gay situation, well, one second. As far as religions, all right, some religions don't believe in eating meat. Some don't believe on eating meat on certain days. While the government sneaks meat into almost everything we eat. Cheese has all kinds of byproducts, and they don't have to say meat or animals. They use different words that people don't understand. All right, let's go to the gay rights. Who is really winning in that right now? They're a right to get married, then they're not. How's that? When you give somebody a right, you take it away. You give somebody a right and take it away. Same as like the women's rights. Where are we going, people? And you claim you're so spiritual and so forward in the spiritual realm with this high dimension energy flowing through you. Why is nobody acting or showing it at any level? Please, one person out there, whether it's the big name speakers, which I won't list them all. If you go into my site, howtoseegod.org, I list about maybe 80 or 90 of the top speakers on the planet that claim to be spiritual and whatever words you want to use, religious, New Age people. Okay, talk about prejudice. What about the age of people? What about the hair color? These are all considered when you go for a job. Hair color, body shapes. Oh, big thing now is booty shape. And then last, but the clothes you wear. What's up with that? What's up? Come on, tell me. Why do you have the right to be controlled of what you can wear and what you can't wear? All right, I can talk about prejudices all day and help you try to realize that you are. You can say you're not, but you are. Oh, well, it's not prejudice, it's just dislikes and likes. Well, if I don't like the black race, or I don't like the green race, I don't like the red race, that's a prejudice to some people. Or maybe it's just the way I feel. But you have to feel the way they want you to feel in this world right now. Then again, you have to fit into that little box that they leave you in. All right, the schools have the right to tell you how to dress, tell you that you can't put a flag in the school, and all those things. Because one little person on the outside didn't like it and changed it. So are we gearing to the pole, which is how all laws are created, or do we gear to the singular person and their rules? If that was the case, we'd have 10 billion laws on top of the 10 million that we already have. All right, so think again, people. Do you have the right to be who you want? No. Do you have the right to think the way you want? No. If it's in your own little house, in your dream world, you can do whatever you want. when it comes to working with your children, even addressing your children, which most people don't even know how, or how spiritually to connect with them and protect them on a spiritual level. We're at this place where people have no clue where they're going, where they came from, why they're here, while they say the opposite. Please let me know. You got any problems with any of what I said, please email me. I love to debate, I love to talk, and I am challenging all the big speakers out there that claim to have this knowledge and truth, and showing people if they follow them, we're going to go nowhere. Where we're going now? Nowhere except polluting the planet, which is very serious right now. With that, I'll say love and light, people. Please email me, hawksblood1aol.com, or go to my site, www.howtoseegod.org. Please talk to me. If you have something bad to say it. If you have something good to say it. If you have something to say it. Don't sit there and hide. Don't sit there going into a hole in the ground. Come out. Be spoken. Be out there. Be real. Peace, everybody.